Hi, Brian here from TV Training Academy, back with another one of these videos to just cover some of the things that can be helpful when you're using a camera, specifically if you're not used to it during this strange time. Everybody's having to get in front of the camera now to continue work on Zoom or webcams, and hopefully these small just series of tips and helpful advice is something that is going to be helpful. Let me know if there's anything that you want me to talk about actually that I haven't mentioned. Comment below. Do comment, because that just brings engagement to the video for me. Don't forget to subscribe, that's really important, and like as well, that's really important. But yeah, so this one we're talking about autocues, and if we are going to write autocues, a little bit of scripting there, because sometimes you have to get stuff absolutely spot on, especially if it's technical, especially if it's legal, perhaps, especially if it's an advert that you want to do and you've only got 29 seconds. You need to make sure you get it all in within that time. So I'm not really talking too much about webcams or Zoom on this particular video. It's more if you're doing a pre-recorded video, if you're working as a TV presenter, or you're working on stage presenter as well. They use Autocues. So the Autocue is actually a brand name. Teleprompter is the piece of kit I'm talking about, and what it does is in a studio Autocue, it has a flat screen monitor. There's a piece of perspex. It's a special perspex which doesn't have a double reflection, and the camera goes behind that and looks through that perspex at you, the presenter, and the reflection from the monitor is displayed on that perspex, and that's what you read, and that way you can scroll the reflection right over the glass, right over the lens of the camera, keeping the eye line towards the lens and giving the impression that you're still talking to that one person at home. What you'll find on Autocue units or Autocue systems is there's a little marker either side, or sometimes just on one side of the words, that can be adjusted, and what they're doing there is they're just putting that marker where the line is that is crossing the lens. So you as a talent, you know, where, as a presenter, you as the communicator on screen, you know where the sweet spot is, if you like. That's the line that you've got to try to get to make it really bang on. I wouldn't be obsessed with that, because it's more important to make sure it's more natural, and if you're speeding up and slowing down to try to get to that line each time, every time, it can again bring that artificiality to it. So the easiest way actually when you're using an autocue or teleprompter is to have either an autocue operator, so somebody's there to actually make sure the line is in the right place for you when you need it, so you control the speed, or the new teleprompter systems on apps. You can get them in app stores and stuff. In fact, go again, a link below to my website. There's a page of equipment and recommendations, all my recommendations on there. At the end of the video, it'll be down there, and you can have a look at some of the ones. But the app stores now have voice recognition ones, so actually you just tell it where you want the line and the computer will do it. But the first real thing to consider is that you control the speed, not the other way round. You go to the speed that feels right to you, because it's got to be natural. We're trying to get away from you sounding like you're reading, and a monotone, consistent speed delivery is what makes it sound like you're reading, with an expressionless face as you're reading the script as you go along like that. That is not going to keep anybody engaged for very long at all, because we just lose the real you. You're just reading and it looks weird for the audience. So you need to be able to keep bringing that expression and emphasis to it. Now, the speed is one thing, but the other thing is that expression and emphasis, and it feels weird when you first start using an autocue, because quite simply, if you're not a presenter, a professional presenter, probably the only time you've read out loud is when you're just reading some factual information to a group of people, or reading the apologies at a wedding or something. You know, you're not even trying to make it sound like you're chatting and those words are yours. You're just reading out the information. So it's weird when you start bringing all the expression and emphasis and all those things that we normally do when we talk to it, purely because you're not accustomed to it. But again, trust yourself and go with it. If it feels like you're doing it a little bit over the top, probably about right actually for the autocue. It does feel when you first start that you're overcooking it. so overcook it a bit. But play it back and watch it and see how you're getting on. And practice does make perfect. As long as you are practicing in the right way, you get very good at it. Don't practice in the wrong way, you'll get very good at doing it wrong. Yeah, you don't want that. So the emphasis, use the punctuation. If it's got a full stop, the next line is a new train of thought. Comes from a slightly different place. If it's got a question mark, make it sound like a question. Exclamation mark, exclaim it in some way. Do something. Don't ignore the punctuation. That's the first thing. But then again, just trust yourself. If it feels like it would be right to emphasize that word, then do it. That's fine. If it feels like you need a pause somewhere, pauses are great, draws the audience in. So pause. I don't think you need to have this constant verbal delivery. Variety is key when it comes to Autocue. So the speed and the variety of vocal delivery. The next thing I would say is ensure that you've read it through a good few times, but not only make sure that there's no words in there. If you haven't written it yourself, sometimes the names of people or places can trip us up. So make sure you know how to pronounce any of those. Ask before filming starts or before you go on air. You certainly don't want to just hope for the best. Ask before you start filming. But more than that, make sure you understand all the words and the pronunciations, but just make sure you've got some sort of connection to what you're saying, some sort of feeling, some sort of attitude, some sort of angle. If you don't, then I can see it. You're just saying words out loud. If you haven't got a feel about the sentence or the message that you're talking about, there's no connection between you and the script, then you are just a talking vessel. Hello and welcome to today's show. What we have coming up is no. So you've got to get into that script, get a feel. Communication via video, in communication in general, is all about feelings and how we're making somebody feel. If you're not making somebody feel something, then they might as well read it. Because why would I watch you? In fact, anything that you ever talk about on video, almost certainly I can find some information on that on Google somewhere. Online, I'll find it. So why am I going to watch you talking about it? Well, because of the way you do it, the feel you bring to the item, to the subject matter, to whatever it is you are talking about. So never shy away from film. When I'm talking about film, I'm not talking about the depths of emotional Shakespeare and all of that. It's just have a connection with the words. Feel something about what it is you're saying. And in that way, it's engaging and interesting to watch. Because we just get a feel for the sort of person you are. And that's what people want. They buy from people. They like listening to people. So never hide that away. Okay. And the last thing really that I'm going to mention with Autocue, with teleprompter and stuff like that, is just make sure you top and tail it nicely. All too often, what happens is people will start a video and they'll be looking at something like this and the button to press it or control it with or something. And then they'll go, hi, welcome to this video. And it's kind of like immediately we see that there's something going on before you've even started. So make sure your eyes are on the lens or your eyes are on the words. You've got a little bit of warmth or something in your face. Give yourself a beat and then start the Autocue and deliver it with whatever it is you're going to deliver. The same at the other side. As soon as you finish what you're doing, what I see very, very often with new presenters when they're doing Autocue work is they will literally go, well, that's it from us. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Was that all right? And it's kind of like, that's a really hard edit point. So make things easy for you. If you're doing pre-record, if you're a professional presenter and you're getting paid for it, then they'll expect this, that you just hold that lens until you get the cut. So that's it from us. I'll be back next week for another podcast. Cut. And then you can do what you like. So it just means that with the edit, the editor has something they can roll, they can do a fade, they can do whatever they want. But it's not just a snap away from the, sometimes before you've even finished saying the last word, a new presenter will be off that lens. So there you go. That's Autocue teleprompter help when you're When you're scripting it, when you're writing it, a couple of points I want to make about that. We write it generally as 3 words per second. That's very rough sort of estimate. So you've got an idea of how long your script is going to be with 3 words per second. And write autocue like we say it, not like you would write copy for a website. Now that's the big mistake a lot of people make, is they write it like it's going to be read by somebody else. It's not. You are going to speak it. So it is would become it's, it will is it will, it'll it'll, but we shorten it. Wherever there's a chance, when we're talking, we generally just shorten it. We don't say every single word in its entirety, and so that's how you write your scripts as well, the way you talk. And when I'm doing it, I write the line and I'll just say it out loud and see if it sounds and it trips off the tongue naturally. If it does, fine, on to the next one. When you're writing stuff as well, it's short, concise, to the point. The quickest route to the message is generally the best one. The less you sort of just elaborate and waffle when it comes to pre-recorded videos about any sort of subject matter, is just get to the point. People just want the information and go. So clear, concise, to the point, write it as you would say it. That's it from me for the moment, and I'll be back. I've got another couple of these to do. Once again, there's a number of links below here. One is taking you to equipment that we recommend for filming, for webcasting, for all those things. Microphones, really important. You've got to get a good mic. Have a look on that page for all those recommendations. 2, we've got some webinars coming up. Check them out. 3, subscribe. Give us a subscribe, because if we don't get subscriptions and we don't build an audience, then we can't continue doing these. So give us a thumbs up. Any questions, put them below. I'll get round to them and I'll answer them, I'll answer them for you best I can. So put your questions below, and let's just build that engagement and build that TV training family. It's good to have your company, and stay safe, and I'll be back with another video with more tips very shortly. Subscribe.